evening. I'm still reporting on the coup. Unless you watched Rob Schmitt tonight on Newsmax, you probably haven't heard about this until now. In the last few weeks, Joe Biden has done a 180 on his border policy. He's now allowing the U.S. Border Patrol, along with Texas Rangers, to pretty much return to President Trump's border policy, and yet we haven't heard about this. The change in policy is likely politics-driven. Polls are showing that Biden's most unpopular policy is the way he has allowed a virtually unrestricted invasion into the United States by killing all the effective policies implemented by President Trump, then telegraphing to the invaders that he will not stop them from entering illegally, and even paying hitherto unheard of virtual bribes by promising them thousands of dollars per month in gift cards to encourage them to do so. On top of that, he's made it known that even prisoners from any nation's prisons, no matter how heinous their crimes, are equally welcome to enjoy the benevolence of the U.S. taxpayer for as long as he can make it last. The only catch is that there is an election coming up, and the recipients of America's largesse should give Biden their vote. That is, if he can finagle a way to allow such an unconstitutional behavior by November. Imagine walking through thousands of miles of desert to suddenly find that the promised welcoming doors to the U.S. have suddenly, secretly, been slammed shut, probably never to open again. Cruel, but that's politics in the Biden era. Well, it's Friday, and so there is no better day to try to push this revelation out through the MSM unnoticed than the first Friday in April.
No issue is doing more damage to Joe Biden's re-election chances than immigration. A write-up from the Wall Street Journal, Why Immigration is the #1 issue for voters. The authors write, even above the economy and inflation, voters say they worry the migrant influx is affecting other aspects of life, from crime and fentanyl to national security and government spending, as Washington has been unable to resolve the problem. Resolve the problem. How naive of them. Our immigration disaster was carefully coordinated. This is a manufactured crisis. And just as quickly as it was manufactured, signs that the crisis is quickly being reversed. The drop in border crossings this year has been shocking to see. The catastrophe that we saw at the end of last year was curbed dramatically by January and into February, from around 14,000 crossings a day at its worst down to closer to 4,000 the last couple of months. Todd Bensman from the Center for Immigration Studies capturing a number of videos from the Mexican side of our border that explain exactly how this is happening. The videos show a serious effort by the Mexican government, something we have not seen the last few years, to stop this flow. In this video, you see buses full of migrants being stopped by Mexican authorities. Other video shows Mexican border officers patrolling, looking out for any problems. The next one we have appears to show a number of migrant smuggling trucks commandeered by the Mexican government, taken from the smugglers themselves. We have seen none of this for the last 3 years until very recently, and suddenly Mexico is beginning to behave as they did back when Trump was in the White House and we had a very quiet border for 4 years. And of course, there's no question this is all happening at the request of Joe Biden, who swore for 3 years that there was nothing that he could do.
Aha. So that's why Brandon suddenly changed his tune a few weeks ago to this strange complaint.
All I can do. Just give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people, the judges. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work rationally.
It certainly is a crisis, and well, we don't bear responsibility for a broken system, and we're doing a tremendous amount within that broken system. But fundamentally, Congress is the only one who can fix it.
Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Happy Friday. No issue is doing more damage to Joe Biden's re-election chances than immigration. A write-up from the Wall Street Journal, Why immigration is the #1 issue for voters, the authors write. Even above the economy and inflation, voters say they worry the migrant influx is affecting other aspects of life, from crime and fentanyl to national security and government spending, as Washington has been unable to resolve the problem. Resolve the problem. How naive of them. Our immigration disaster was carefully coordinated. This is a manufactured crisis. And just as quickly as it was manufactured, signs that the crisis is quickly being reversed. The drop in border crossings this year has been shocking to see. The catastrophe that we saw at the end of last year was curbed dramatically by January and into February, from around 14,000 crossings a day at its worst down to closer to 4,000 the last couple of months. Todd Bensman from the Center for Immigration Studies capturing a number of videos from the Mexican side of our border that explain exactly how this is happening. The videos show a serious effort by the Mexican government, something we have not seen the last few years, to stop this flow. In this video, you see buses full of migrants being stopped by Mexican authorities. Other video shows Mexican border officers patrolling, looking out for any problems. The next one we have appears to show a number of migrant smuggling trucks commandeered by the Mexican government, taken from the smugglers themselves. We have seen none of this for the last 3 years until very recently, and suddenly Mexico is beginning to behave as they did back when Trump was in the White House and we had a very quiet border for 4 years. And of course, there's no question this is all happening at the request of Joe Biden, who swore for 3 years that there was nothing that he could do.
Give me the power. I've asked for the very day I got in office. Give me the border patrol. Give me the people to judge it. Give me the people who can stop this and make it work rationally.
It certainly is a crisis, and well, we don't bear responsibility for a broken system, and we're doing a tremendous amount within that broken system. But fundamentally, Congress is the only one who can fix it.
The laws in our immigration system have been broken for a long time. And this administration has done everything it can under the law.
All they do is lie. Anyone upset over our decreased quality of life or the paralyzing effect this invasion has had in our major cities, where these now fake asylum seekers all live, should be enraged by this and by Biden's outright ability to just lie right to our faces while causing a disaster. He never needed Congress to fix the system he intentionally broke. He screamed he wanted power. Of course, that's all he ever wants. He didn't need it, he just wanted it. And he knew it. Biden simply wanted to claim victory after fixing his own man-made immigration crisis. That's why they wanted that bill. Republican defiance to that Senate immigration bill was a nice middle finger to our duplicitous and destructive president. You can't destroy the country, pack your future voter rolls, and then expect Republicans to give you a political win.
But it's even worse than that. Apparently, the new president of Mexico, knowing Biden's weakness, negotiated a $20 billion per year payment from Biden, most of which probably went straight into his pockets, to help extricate Biden from this thorny political problem.
As far as Mexico is concerned, it seems obvious that a deal was struck between Biden and Mexico's president. Here he was on 60 Minutes just a few weeks ago.
President Biden called you. He sent his Secretary of State. What did they say to you, and what did they ask for from you?
For us to try and contain the flow of migration.
A month later, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol reported the number of migrant crossings dropped by 50%.
Just that easy. A couple phone calls with Biden and the border's under control again. A dramatic drop. And 60 Minutes, of course, playing dumb because they want Joe Biden to win re-election. And ironically, the same president who said this while running for office.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. That man is now demanding Mexico prevent millions of asylum seekers from being heard at all. I thought they had the right to be heard. That's who we are, Joe Biden said. It's all just a game. They don't care about any of it, about migrants or the chaos, the expense they bring to American cities. They don't care about asylum seekers. They don't care about you, me, or anyone else. It's just power. And the president of Mexico has no interest in dealing with Donald Trump again for 4 more years, so he's playing along. And he also knows he can extort the Biden White House. See here.
With the ear of the White House, President Lopez Obrador proposed his fix, that the United States commit $20 billion a year to poor countries in Latin America and the Caribbean.
If they don't do the things that you've said need to be done, then what?
The flow of migrants will continue.
All right, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton joins us now. Sir, it's good to have you here on the set.
Great to be here.
I want to show you this video. We can pull it up on the screen here from Todd Bensman from the Center for Immigration Studies. This is it right here. He has a number of these videos showing, you know, a pretty concerted effort, if you look at it, he says, by Mexican authorities to end the flow of migration, or at least to stem the flow of migration into the country. He's got a number of these videos showing trucks that they've stopped, that they've commandeered, you know, from cartels moving people up. I wanted to get on your end. Have you guys in Texas felt like this is slowing down at all?
It certainly feels like that.
Yeah.
And as you know, we lost our injunction on the wire cutting, so they have the ability to cut down our wire, our fences,
Yeah.
which is crazy, and we're still in litigation over that, but they have never done it. So even though they have the ability to do it, since that ruling, you know, a little over a month ago, there's been no cutting of our fences. We've continued to put them up. And so I would not be surprised. Yeah, so I would not be surprised as the election comes and his numbers have been affected negatively, I say his, Joe Biden, that they would want that issue to go away at least until the election, and then if he pulls off an election, they'd
fire it right back
right
up. Isn't it, I mean, how crazy is it that we live in a country where that's the politics, that you can do this intentionally and then you can just slow it down for an election? I mean, it's that twisted.
It feels like we're in a third world country. It feels like we're not in a constitutional republic, because he's obligated by federal law to enforce the laws that are passed by our elected representatives, all of those which Trump have enforced and did successfully, and Biden pulled it all out and said, we're dismantling that, we're not going to do that, we're going to invite the cartels to bring people in.
Right. And the funniest thing is that they've been telling us for 3 years that everybody has the right to claim asylum. Now we're seeing, I mean, this video shows the Mexican government preventing people from that right that they, you know, had to defend so vigorously and so virtuously for the last few years. Where is, with that video, where is the Biden administration? You know, slamming the Mexican government for having the gall to stop people from their right to claim asylum in this country.
Yeah, we all know what's going on.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a deal. There's a deal. Otherwise, the Mexican government would not be doing this. This doesn't happen randomly, since we've been dealing with this for, what, 3.5 years? And suddenly the Mexican government is stopping people from getting to our border. That's not an accident, and that's designed to help Joe Biden pull the election out, because that is his worst issue, according to polling.
And you say that you feel like it's slowing down. Are there any numbers that show over the last couple months, has there been a
So the numbers are usually delayed. But
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I am
As it
shocked
feels.
that they have not. We've been putting up more barriers, which is helpful to us.
Yeah.
And they're not doing anything to stop us. Despite the
They're
fact that
not
they have the
doing
ability, if they want to, they could walk across and cut our wire down and get away with it, at least until our litigation.
You're saying the feds are no longer
That's correct.
trying to do anything to stop it after all those lawsuits, all that nonsense.
And after they were cutting it down, and after they were trying to stop us from putting up barriers. So they tried to stop us from putting the buoys in the water. They've tried to stop us from putting up fences.
Right.
And now suddenly that's stopped.
Boy, doesn't that, okay, so that's what you were talking, I thought you were talking about the crossers were tearing down the wire, but this is from the government. They've basically
federal-
just given up all of those efforts. Do you guys still have the river blocked with the buoys?
We do.
Yeah.
And we're
River
still in
Net.
litigation over that, but they're still there. And there seems to be a calmness about that as well.
They're all slowing everything down. Doesn't that tell you everything? Your governor is also in New York, and he's with Greg Kelly tonight at 9 o'clock tonight. He vows to continue busing migrants all over the country until we get a new president. I want to play just a little bit of an interview that he filmed earlier today with Greg.
The number of known terrorists continues to increase coming across the border. More than that, however, if you are a terrorist and are on the terrorist watch list, you pay extra not to be apprehended. No one in America knows how many terrorists are coming across the border.
But it's even worse than that. Apparently, the new president of Mexico, knowing Biden's weakness, negotiated a $20 billion per year payment from Biden, most of which probably went straight into his pockets, to help extricate Biden from this thorny political problem.
He's going to continue. I mean, he's going to continue this fight and continue to ship him off. I think that's the right thing to do.
I commend him. It's a great move on his part. It protects our border. It protects not just Texas. What he's doing is fundamentally protecting the United States in a way that our own president is not doing. As a matter of fact, our own president is aiding and abetting the cartels to bring more people here.
How scared are you of what's already come across? And all of, we don't know how many people that are on the terror watch list that we don't know got in.
I have no doubt that we have many terrorists in this country. They're just waiting for their opportunity. This will affect us at some point in a very negative way. And the Biden administration knows it, and they've condoned it.
Ken Paxton, Attorney General of Texas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, Todd Bensman joins us now from the Center for Immigration Studies. He captured the footage of Mexico, it appears, cracking down on illegal migrants along the U.S.-Mexican border. Todd, it's good to see you again. Break down exactly what you found with this footage. You went across the border and you filmed it yourself.
Yeah, in fact, I'm literally just back maybe 20 minutes ago from my flight from Juarez. I was there for 5 days. And also south of Juarez to a lot of smaller towns and villages. And what I saw were hundreds and hundreds of Mexican immigration officers, like what you're seeing on your screen right now. I shot that video, congregated in cities and towns in Chihuahua State. Yeah. And they were shutting down the immigration. They were pulling them off buses. They were running after them. They were chasing them. There was a lot of cat and mouse stuff going on at the actual physical border and, dozens of miles south, roadblocks. And the immigrants themselves told me that they are being chased and hounded, and that if they get caught, that they're going to be deported all the way down to Tapachula, Mexico, which is, a lot of them came 1,500 miles. And this has really been going on in a concerted way since December. Not so much in Chihuahua State as Coahuila State and Nuevo Leon further to the south. This is kind of new, and I think this may have had something to do with the fact that we had those bonsai charges through the Texas barriers, and those were absolutely terrible political optics for the Biden administration, those storming of the Texas troops through the barbed wire.
And you're saying that the behavior that we're seeing from the Mexican nationals and from their government, this is unlike anything we've seen the last few years. They're actually making a concerted effort to stop this flow, and they haven't been doing that since Biden got in.
They could have been doing this for 3 years straight. They just started doing this as part of a deal. When we were having 14,000 a day in Eagle Pass coming across, in Eagle Pass and all along the border all the way to California, huge. I mean, this is ionospheric numbers in October, November, and December. And then they had a diplomatic breakthrough with Lopez Obrador, to shut that down, and they moved the numbers down from 14,000 a day to like 5,000 a day.
Yeah. And you think some kind of a deal was made with AMLO, the president of Mexico?
Absolutely. He doesn't deny it either. He went on 60 Minutes. I've written about this. He went on 60 Minutes and said, "Hey, if you want to shut this down, I'll take $20 billion. If you don't want to give the $20 billion, let the flow continue. The flow will continue." And even the interviewer said, "That sounds like blackmail." And he was like, "I speak my mind."
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good evening.